All right, here we are, and we're back here in Unit 8, the studio portion of the Renaissance unit. So let's take a look here. Just as a reminder, our objectives, what we're doing. What are we doing? We will create a self-portrait painting based on artwork and techniques that we studied in this unit. How are we doing this? We will do this by incorporating distinguished characteristics of the Renaissance, such as realistic facial features, detail, color, and that pyramid configuration, and then either one point or atmospheric perspective. Why are we doing this? In order to show our knowledge of the Renaissance by producing a piece of art inspired by the Renaissance. So I'm very excited about this. Let's go ahead and jump in today to lesson 2. And today we're going to continue to create our self-portrait painting based on the artwork and technique that we studied in the Renaissance unit. So we kind of have a workspace set up. We have our materials and things. We should have them ready to go. We have our image here ready to go. So today we're going to start by doing a basic sketch of the composition. We're going to draw in the head and the facial features. And then step 3, we're going to add in that upper torso portion. So we're going to start out real general with our sketch, and then we'll move into more detail as we go, and then finish it out with that torso. I did want to talk real quick about this basic composition here of this triangular composition or this pyramid composition. So I'm going to clear some of my stuff here in just a second. So we'll come back to this slide, but I do want you to see for a moment what I did to get prepared here. So I decided that I really liked the idea of this heavier cardboard. It was the, originally it was a snowman box. So I cut off the sides of the box, and I'm going to get rid of those. Okay. And I'm going to use this for my portrait, and the other stuff that I had, the cardboard or the drawing paper or, another box lid, any of that would work. Okay, so you'd kind of decide. With my substrate, it ends up being a brown backing because I'm not going to paint on the snowman side. It's too slick to paint on this side. Plus, I'd want to put a base down before that. If you had a gesso material, you totally could use this box, paint over it with gesso, and it would then, the acrylic paints would stick really well to it. The gesso, that's the job of the gesso. So I'm going to flip this over. Okay, and here is going to be my drawing surface. I may end up shortening it a little bit based on the proportion because this is an awful long and narrow composition right now. So we'll see. Okay, so when we go back, there's a little bit of shortening happening in that camera. Let's see, a little bit better, a little more straight on. I'm going to jump back over here. We're going to take a look at all of these resources that I've kind of pulled and have as part of the presentation in our lesson today can be found in the OMHS. So am I saying that? Oh, online high school middle OHMS. So they can be found there. So we're going to start with this idea of this sketch of the triangle. I am physically going to lightly sketch that triangle on the paper. It gives me a sense of where things should be. And then from there, I'm going to start to sketch in shapes for the different parts of the composition. So where the head would be, where the torso would be, just to get a general fit in that triangle to help me keep things the proper size. And then I'll start to add more details as I go through too. Okay, so but right now it's just going to be real general kind of spacing out things in the composition. So let me jump back over to the camera. Okay, and if I'm looking at my composition is actually more of a horizontal composition. So I think I'm going to flip my paper this way, and that might help me too. So my triangular part, I'm going to start, and I may change this up a little bit here, and I'm going to draw a little bit darker than I would suggest that you are going to draw, because you are going to be able to see your own lines. I'm going to have trouble seeing my lines. So or you're going to have trouble seeing my lines on the camera. So that's kind of like my triangle. From there, in my triangle, my head is going to be towards the, I actually want to put it up a little higher, towards the top of this. And my head shape is a little bit more of like that. So I'm going to put that in, something like that. When I smile, my chin comes to kind of a point there. So I have that. And then from there, I'm going to kind of come over to what's going to be my crab off my arm because I'm kind of strange angle. And then my inner part of my body's here with my neck and shoulder coming down. So I'm going to extend this a little bit, and I think I need to make my head a little bit bigger. I've got to take up more of this triangle space and yet not be so, that actually is not terrible, but it's a little alien-like right now. So something like that. But you can see how I'm using the triangle as a guide, but I'm not paying too much attention to it. I still have to make it look right. Okay, so I kind of have my spaces blocked in. If I'm thinking about that shirt that I'm wearing, it's got kind of like this shape here. And I've got this necklace thing and something. See how that goes, something like that there. While I'm here, I can kind of put in, it's kind of strange how this dock comes out of my head there. But I want it to end something like there. And then kind of goes with my triangle a little bit. Oh, it's going to come over my shoulder back here. Maybe I'll use even that line of the triangle and disappear again into my head. Okay. So, and then I'll have a second. And I'm just eliminating those people because I don't want, it's my sister-in-law, Julie, and her husband, Jeff. Not to be mistaken by my Jeff. But we got two Jeffrey Davids. They're both Jeffrey Davids in the family. So when we get mad at one of them, they both look. Okay. So that's sort of like my very rough sketch. Okay. So that's the first step. Put in your rough sketch using that triangular shape. Okay. We're going to kind of jump back over to the other screen here. Okay, so after we have that part in, we're going to move on and start thinking about these facial expressions, but more importantly, this proportion. Okay, so I really liked, this was the top two things are the things that came in the course, but I kind of wanted something a little bit more visual, perhaps. I love the writing and I love the explanation, but I love this visual diagram down here in the bottom even more. Okay, I'm a very visual person, so this helps me out. So I'm going to look at this, and the first thing that I'm going to pay attention to is the fact that from the top of the head to the chin, in the very center, that's where your eyes go. That's such a common mistake people make. They put the eyes way too high in the head. And I kind of purposely didn't pull my bangs down today and things. But when you look at from the top of my head, where my headset is here, to my chin, my eyes, yeah, they kind of do, right? They fall right in the middle there. So that's a very, very common mistake, is to put them too high. So we want to make sure that our eyes are in the middle of our head. So the center of the eye falls at that midline. Now, from where your bangs or your part of your hair, and again, this is different on people. My husband's hair is receding, right? So his hairline, his forehead's getting bigger, but his hair is a little higher than, say, mine. So when we look here, it should be about in here somewhere where your hairline would start. So from that hairline or part line, you're going to measure down about a third and a third and a third, and that should finish from there to your chin. Break that space into thirds. So the top third ends up being mostly your forehead. At that mark, that's where your eyebrows are going to start. And at the bottom of that third, that's where your nose stops. So your nose starts at your middle of your eye line and goes down to that third of a block. So you can see that your eyebrows and your nose then help to determine where your ear sits on the composition. So remember, proportion is the relationship of parts. So we're comparing where do the eyes go compared to the whole head shape? Where do the eyebrows go compared to the head shape and in relationship to the eye? And then we build, okay? So where's the bottom of the nose? Well, from the eyebrow to the bottom of the nose is a third of your face. And again, these are general, most common facial feature proportions. Then you might go from there to determine where your ear is going to be. Now, let's talk about mouth for a minute. From the corner of your eyes, straight down, you'll hit the edge of your nose. Okay. And then from the center of your eyes, now this one's not very well clear on this drawing, but it's very clear on the one online. From the center of your eyes down, you'll hit the edges of your lips. But your lip placement is from the bottom of your nose, 1/3 of the way to your chin. And this one's also not very well represented. So if we marked here where the lips are and another third where that's where your lips would be, 1/3 from your nose to your chin. Okay, so you just have to kind of go through this. The other thing that's not truly well represented on here, but is over here, is that your eye width from side to side is 1/5. Okay, so if you drew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eyes across your head, your eyes, the second and the fourth would be your eye placement, okay, your accurate eye placement. So we're going to use these as guides, and we're going to start to put this into our composition on our paper. Again, this is a rough sketch still. Okay, so let's go back to my camera. All right, so first thing we're going to do is determine where those eyes go. So if this is the top of my head and this is the bottom of my head, I'm going to come in right in here, is about the middle. Okay, and I don't know if you can see that, so let me make it darker. Okay, and then from there, where I am a little bit tilted in my picture. Okay, so if I was doing this straight on, I would say here's an eye, here's an eye, and here's an eye, and here's an eye, here's an eye, and here's an eye. And I would put my eyes right in here. Okay, so it's a little bit off from my picture there. So I have to make a decision. Do I want to try to match my picture, or do I want to try to match my proper proportions here to show you? I think I'm going to go with my proper proportions here. Okay. So I'm going to use this eye and this eye. From there, I'm going to come down and I'm going to imagine this space was broken into from like here where my hairline starts. Okay, hair. I don't know if I should do it. I think I am going to move my eye because I'm a little bit, my picture is not straight on. So I'm a little off to the side. So I think I am going to, with this idea that my face would be here. So I think I'm going to go and put my eyes. It would still be proper proportions. I'm still going to use that idea of that center eye. So if I have my hairline starting to get really messy, right? And then somewhere my eye line, my ear comes up above the eye line where my eyebrows would be, too far over. And I'm going to put one of my eyes here. And then the third one would be my middle. And then my other eye is going to go over here. So it's just a little shortened from, and then I'd have another eye here, and that would be when my ear starts. Close there. Okay, get rid of that. And the center eye. All right, it's looking amazing. So here, and this is going to come out of my head. So from my eyebrow line, I need to imagine from here to here, and divide that into thirds. So there and there, 1, 2, 3. So this is the bottom of my nose. And then from there to my chin, I'm going to divide that into thirds. And then this would be my mouth. And using my eye lines here, and I have this big smile in this picture. And I'm just putting this in to give you an idea of spacing right now. So my nose bridge is going to come down. Something like that right now. Okay, oops, sorry. All right, and then I will have like my glasses on here too. At some point, get those in there. Okay, and my ear, I never did finish it, is going to end somewhere close. It's real thin, but right in there. Okay, that looks amazing. Okay, so real light, real rough sketches. Okay, but it gets me an idea of where my spacing should be. Right now, I kind of don't have a neck either. I need to kind of curve that down that way, but okay, simple, just changing some of the lines. My mouth is going to be more upward too. It looks kind of crazy right now, but all right, so that's kind of roughing in the proportions of where things are going to be in that. And I do have it slightly shifted because my picture's slightly not straight on. Okay, so that's that part. And I'm going to work a little bit longer on this and kind of clean up. I'm going to go back and I'm going to use some of the ideas from here to help me kind of define that eye shape a little bit better and define that mouth shape a little better so it doesn't look so blocky and big, but yet still looks like an open mouth smile. I need to put in the other lines to make that work. So I'm going to kind of clean this up as I keep working. But that was one thing. And then if we're looking, we needed to kind of define out that torso space. So I'm going to continue to add some more details to that. I did want to just briefly go over this checklist with you as well. With this checklist, it says, did you start with a light sketch of your self-portrait? If so, did you erase or cover them? So a lot of this will be covered up, but you need to have it there. It helps to lay out your composition. It helps to give you the right proportions so that we're trying. Remember, the Renaissance was all about this understanding and this knowledge of the anatomy and how things are positioned in the paintings. So we're trying to use that as we paint as well, those fine things that we learned. So did you use realistic proportions for the head and facial features? These things I'm using to grade the final project. So it's really great right now to see this up front and know that I'm looking for these things. Did I create facial features that show expression? So this is a very happy picture of me. I want it to appear to be happy when I paint it as well, and use the different facial features to try to show that. The different eyebrows that are up are more excited, eyebrows that are down and are frown, they have like pointed, they are a little more angry. So use those facial features to show expression in your painting. Did you place facial features in the correct area of your head? Again, that kind of goes back to this idea of proportion, not only the size of each of the things, but the placement of those things. Did you add details to make your self-portrait look like you? So, you're going to see this necklace in that portrait because I've always wear this necklace. It's part of me, and my glasses are going to be there because that is something that's recognizable for me. Did you create a background depth by using either 1-point or atmospheric perspective? Mine's set up with that dock to kind of give me that 1-point perspective line behind me. So that's going to be really great. Then moving into only 1-point piece is that pyramid configuration. Do you have that kind of center point for your piece? And then did you add color to your self-portrait? Did you blend colors and create hues that resemble the colors of the skin, hair, lips, and eyes? We'll get to that. We're not there yet, but I just wanted to point that out as this is how I'm going to be evaluating the end result of your painting. All right, so take some time, clean up your details, start working with those proportions and making sure that this looks like you as a self-portrait. If you're having any concerns or questions or any issues, please reach out and let me know. I'm here to help you. We can share screens so that I can see what you're doing. You can hold your paintings up, your drawings up so that I can give you advice. That's where I shine. So if I can see your work, I can help you out. If you have any concerns or anything, please let me know.